Welcome back to Simple Meals _KE. Today we are going to be learning how to make corn dogs, a very easy snack for the kids as well as adults, and it's very easy to learn. Straight to our ingredients. We have some sugar, corn flour, baking powder, 2 eggs, flour about 1 1/3 cup, and then we have some milk, and of course our main ingredient, which is the hot dogs or the frankfurters or the beef Viennas. You can either use pork or beef, whichever you prefer. And then on to making our corn dogs. We have some skewers there. And then we have in our bowl, we are first going to start by mixing our dry ingredients. And we have also our spatula there on the side. So we begin with the dry ingredients. First, baking powder, about a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/3 cup of corn flour, ama unga ya ugali. And then we have a 1/3 cup, 1 1/3 cup of wheat flour, 1 1/3 cup. You can use the measuring cups to measure out your ingredients. So we have 1 1/3 cup, about a tablespoon of sugar, and of course a teaspoon, some very little salt. So you mix that up really well. After you mix that up, you can use your whisk to stir that really well. And then after you've stirred your dry ingredients, you're going to put in your wet ingredients, which is the eggs and the milk. So ensure that you can use also some water, but it will really be delicious if you use some milk. So you're going to stir in some milk, and I'll show you the consistency that we require. So mix that in really well. Mix that in. Stir that really well. You can use, I'm using a fork, but you can use a hand mixer or a wooden spoon, just whatever that you find that is working for you. So you'll continue to add the milk, but please don't add too much milk, because then the butter will then become really thin, and we don't want a very thin butter. We want a butter that will really stick on the hot dogs. So continue to mix in that really well. You can continue to add a little more milk until you get a very nice and smooth consistency like that. So that's the kind of butter that we require. But then of course we've not added our eggs. You'll add in 2 eggs. Ensure that when you're cracking your eggs, you ensure that none of the eggshells drop into the butter. So you'll just mix in that. So if your consistency is very light, what you can do is you can just add a few tablespoons of flour to ensure that your butter then is not very thin, because once you have a very thin butter, it will just fall off the hot dog. It will fall off the Vienna. So I have some Viennas there. What I've done is that they were too long, so what I did is half them, and then I also kind of cut my skewers. They were too long. I've put in the batter that I had mixed into a glass so that it's easier to dip the Viennas into the batter. I'll show you. Now, when you're inserting your Viennas into the, I mean your skewers into the Vienna, ensure that you push right up to the end. You'll feel the end there once you push it in, but make sure that it doesn't come out on the other side. So what you do, just push in the skewer smoothly, but ensure that it does not pierce the other side. So we've all our Viennas are ready. I've halved that because they were quite long and they would have been really tedious to use inside my pan. They would not have fit. So what I've done, I'm just going to demonstrate how we dip in the hot dogs into the mixture, into the batter mixture that we had made. And then on my plate there, I'll just place it on the plate. But if you're making this, it would be nice if you had this just right next to your oil, so that you don't need to again use another plate to put that in. And again, the butter normally runs off the Viennas. It runs off the hot dogs. So ensure that you do that near the fire. I'll show you exactly what to do. You've already heat your oil and your oil is very hot, not too hot that it burns, but you put that in about just some hot oil. You can test the oil by putting in a little butter, like you can see. So that's what I meant when I was saying that you need to do this just right next to where you'll be frying your corn dogs. So ensure that the butter doesn't run too much, and then put that into the hot oil. Use tongs, I'll show you. Use tongs to turn the corn dogs. So you continue to do that, to dip in your corn dogs into the batter until you're done with the whole batch. So I'll show you exactly what to do. Ensure that every part of that corn dog gets a bit or some of that butter. So corn dogs are a very good snack. It's a fun meal. You can have it in the morning if you're having a party. You can have it for breakfast. If you're having guests over, you can still make some of the corn dogs. They're especially good for kids' birthday parties because then they have something to hold on to. Yeah, so that's one of the dogs that I've done. One of the corn dogs, and that looks really amazing. So you continue to put those in like that until you're done with all of them. So our corn dogs are ready, and I've prepared a nice ketchup and a nice ketchup sauce there to go with them. So ensure that let me know in the comments below what you think about this recipe. If you've made it, let me see what you've made. It's a really simple thing to do. And thank you for watching. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. And let's see you next time. Goodbye.